Welcome to Northeast Mississippi Rewind. I'm Brad Locke along with Gene Phelps of the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. Week 2 of high school football is in the books. Another big weekend. A game involving two teams out of the area, just real quickly, that people want to know about. South Panola putting its state record winning streak on the line tonight against Clarksdale. Expected to be a good game, but South Panola wins 42-0, so that streak is now 62. Currently the longest in the nation. Now locally, the ranked teams in the area. Let's start with the large schools and see how they did tonight. Number 1 Shannon defeated number 5 Lafayette 21-5. Number 2 Tupelo losing to Grenada 45-28. Number 3 West Point beats Columbus 27-7. Number 4 Oxford losing to Horn Lake 17-15. And again Lafayette County following the Shannon. Small schools. Number 1 Baldwin holds off Saltillo 24-20. That's how we say it around here, Saltillo. Number 2 Nettleton beats number 3 Boonville 37-13. So Boonville is 0-2 on the season. Number 4 Amory is now 1-1, losing to New Hope 35-28. Number 5 Calhoun City thumps Faulkner 30-0. So Gene, that's how the ranked teams did, and as we mentioned, the Tupelo losing tonight. Tell us what went wrong out there for the Wave.
Well, just about everything. At one time in this ball game, in the third quarter, with about 3 minutes left, Chad Bumpus for Tupelo, who had 3 touchdowns in last week's game against Covington, Tennessee, returned to punt 42 yards for a touchdown, put Tupelo up 28-23. Tupelo had already survived a couple of turnovers earlier in the game, but they just couldn't stop Oliver Hughes, Grenada's quarterback. He almost led a comeback last year against Tupelo down there, after Tupelo had taken a big 22-0 lead, and Hughes brought them within a few points of winning that game and an onside kick late. Tonight, he was 19 of 32 passing for 375 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had some big pass plays to set up short touchdown runs. After Bumpus scored to put Tupelo up, Hughes scored on runs of 11, 7, and 7 yards to help Grenada score 28 points there in the second half and kind of put this game away. DeMarcus Tidwell, another receiver and a big playmaker for Grenada that Tupelo was concerned about coming in, caught 8 passes for 153 yards and a touchdown. And Grenada had 431 yards total offense.
Well, coming into this game, we knew it would be a big test for Tupelo. It would tell us a lot about them because Grenada was in their division last year. They're now in 2-5A, but this is kind of indicative of the kind of teams they'll be facing, and some teams even better than that with South Panola and Olive Branch. So what did we find out about Tupelo that they need to work on?
A number of things. Coach Eric Collins said after the game they exposed a number of their weaknesses. I think that exposed some weaknesses in the secondary. I'm sure with some pass rush and some containment on the ends. Kenneth Davis, Tupelo's preseason All-State running back, had 10 carries tonight for around 56 yards. He was suffering from some cramp problems again, which has been a problem for him the last 2 seasons. But he also played some on defense because they want him in there to help him at outside linebacker and help with that contain. And he played some on the defensive side of the ball. They've just got to go back to work. They've got Amory coming up this weekend, next weekend at home. And before they get into the heart of that 5A schedule, and it's not going to get any easier. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that are just as good as Grenada or better, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, 3 of our top 5 large schools losing. Oxford, the heartbreaker again to Horn Lake, apparently a safety, the difference in that game. And number 5 Lafayette not getting any offense going. They got a young group there at 21-5 to Shannon. Some other games involving non-ranked teams were exciting. We had Pontotoc edging Aberdeen 13-12. They held off a 2-point conversion right there at the end.
And that's Charlie Dampier, isn't it?
Charlie Dampier now 2-0 at Pontotoc.
2-0. The miracle order.
They have doubled their win total from 2006. And also Baldwin, Saltillo. Well, Baldwin is ranked, Saltillo not. A 4A school that's trying to get things going after a tough year. Greg May, the first-year coach. Baldwin holds on 24-20 for that win. And some other close games. Really not as many close games as last week, I don't think. But we had Ripley all over North Panola, Calhoun City all over Faulkner. Oklahoma handled West Oktibbeha, so maybe not as many close games, but a lot of big performances still, which brings us to the 5 stars. I assume, Leisha, that we're running short on time. So let's get to the 5 stars tonight. 5 stars that stood out. We'll first go to that Baldwin game. Dominic Davenport, who does run the ball on offense some, but with Xadrian Shelley out tonight, He's their leading rusher from last year. Davenport called upon, gets 127 yards and a touchdown. Big night for him. Even bigger night for Hubert Crawford of Corinth. He ran for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns as Corinth beats New Albany 49-26. Jacquees Cook ran for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns for Ripley in that win over North Panola. Pat Shedd in Starkville's big win over Meridian, and that final was, Gene, 38-19. Shedd, I think, is a third-year starter, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Ran for 109 yards, 4 touchdowns. And finally, Marcus Sanders for Nettleton, playing against his old team Boonville, ran for 136 yards and an 88-yard touchdown run against his old team. Ran right past his old teammates in front of the home stands, and he said he very much enjoyed that. So that's the 5 stars for tonight, and that's I guess all we've got for tonight. A lot of good action. Once again, next week, week 3, a lot of big games. We'll be back here Friday night. You can tune in to it Friday night or Saturday, just as you can this one. Me and Gene Phelps, Amory come to town, so Gene will be able to get back here and help me.
Back in the studio.
And also next Thursday, check out Northeast Mississippi Scouting Report. We'll talk to an area coach about his big game coming up. Thanks again for joining us.